see the lines I've scribed out from my patterns. This one right here will be this sheath. Essentially this is what I go through to hand make a sheath. Most of the time I'll save pieces like this for later on when I decide that I want to do a stacked leather handle or something along those lines. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning here right now, and I want to get these done, cut out and dyed so that I can get out and forge. And I've got several blades that I need to get made, and then still got to build up inventory for Blade Show. I'm looking forward to being there for the first time this year. To handle these little curves and stuff in here, I actually have different half rounds that I use. Like this one, I'll go right here. Let's see. Gotta get to where you can see. That shit off to the side. Spin this around. Come over here to do the same thing. Gives a nice smooth transition. I've got a nick in that blade I'll have to patch up later. These are actually one of the cross draw sheaths for the mud bums. One of their skinners. And I'll come in here and clean up straightness of this and all. But that's how the sheath, it is pretty much identical in shape and size. I'm not going to bore you with cutting out all these others, so I'll be back after they're cut out and show you how I learned from Maker's Leather to airbrushing from watching one of his videos. Alright? Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to airbrush the dye onto these sheaths. Alright, as you can see, that's a lot faster than working with dauber, and the great thing about it is that's dry. That's dry. That's dry. Just finished that one. And if you look, that's a lot more even than you'll get with a dauber. Or even, for that matter, with a rag. Now, I'm going to finish up these and I'll flip them over, do the insides, and I'll come back to when I'm ready to start putting the welts and everything all in. Alright, there you go. Okay, this is the welt for the chef style knives. I've gone ahead and got the welts in these, getting the welts in the others. What I do is I'll use a contact cement, put it down, put it on one side of the welt, place it on. Takes roughly 15 minutes for that contact cement to cure to where you can actually use it as adhesive, and then, I mean, you're having to actually tear apart leather to get it apart after that. Now that I've stitched the belt loop on this one, I'll rough up this here to where I'll get a good adhere. When I apply the cement, now I've already scraped it to make it a little rough. This is just giving it some more extra oomph, you might say, for contact. Like I said, I mean, I can pull on these and they're not going to come apart. We do a saddle hand stitch. My wife occasionally helps me stitch sheaths, and all matter of fact, she's working on the other belt loop on the other sheath and all right now. She's got those in there. So these will actually get these placed on this. So, and then I'll trim the excess, leave enough room for at least a 1.5, 1 3/4 inch belt to slide through there, and then get a snap that'll hold the knives in that way. After doing that, bring this stuff in, and I tend to work on with the smaller containers. I haven't ordered a large one yet. I'm going to place it on one side of what will be glued per se. I want to get a good general coat. Make sure it's covered well. Come over here, on the opposite side, only where the welt is going to go. There's no need to go any more than that, just where the welt is. You do end up a little over on spots like that. It's not that big a deal. It's going to be inside the sheath, and it will dry and cure out beforehand. Alright, we're going to let that sit for 15 minutes and then come back and tag it together. You can do minimal of 15 minutes, no more than an hour. After an hour, it's become too dry to stick. Under 15 minutes, and it's too damp to actually stick properly. And then I'll just use the hammer, the mallet, and smack it down after I've done that to get it to adhere. I'm gonna go ahead and go clean these up, and then start laying out for the stamping and everything and all like that. See you then. All right, got those sanded down. Nice, smooth, uniform look. Go ahead and tack this. Alright, I'm going to clean that up in a minute. Now for these kind of floppy edges and stuff that we got.
whenever possible, try to get it all in one nice smooth run. Come in with the other areas. It's not always as easy getting around a curved edge. I'm doing now is getting on the inside right here. Just knocking that crisp edge down. Come out here, do the same. So then when I come back with my burnishing tool, there'll be it'll look better. So right in here. Yeah, it's interesting because you'll end up spending as much time doing sheaths, doing a sheath for a knife, even with a simpler one like this, as you will doing the knife. Yeah. I can typically forge out a rough billet out of a monosteel in less than an hour. Well, just hand stitching this sheath will take a minimal of an hour. And then I've got the time in cutting it out, dyeing it, trimming it up, putting the welts in, the rivets, any of the craft stamping or anything that I go to do. Now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to mark where my craft stamping is going to go. Here's one of the sheaths after I've got the welt in, sanded, using the dividers to go ahead and mark out where I'm going to be using my diamond pricking irons, stitching irons to place the stitching. Then we'll come back, hand saddle stitch these, hit them with an edge coat, burnish the edges, and after I get the handles finished shaped and all on the knives, I'll come in, place each knife in its sheath, and see where make sure the strap's going to be snug and tight against it before I punch the hole for the snap on the strap. But this is what sheaths look like. Now this one still has to get a sheen on it. As you can see the difference. It's the same color, but this is before sheen and after sheen. It's a saddle tan, and I use all Thievings dye as it sheens. But if you'll notice here, I come in and I kind of round the edge of the belt loop before I put them on there. They get tapered down Same way with the with the belt loops on the backs of these. I used to just leave them square, but I'm finding out that this makes a much nicer look. It's easier to stitch with just a single line, as well as, you know, overall. Now I die all these first before I do this, so I have to fold it over, mark it out where it's going to be, and then, you know, like you can see over here with this Maximer sheath, this is for the Clobber, this is for the Wolf, and this larger one here is for the Harrington, as you can see between those two. But now this one's got to get one more coat of sheen, and then it'll look like these. I do 2 coats of sheen on them. But then after I get the Maximers and Clobbers and all slid into the sheaths and all, then I'll double check snap placement and stuff like that before I do the snaps. But I appreciate y'all watching the videos. Like, subscribe, share. Go check out, I believe it's from February last year, the giveaway announcement, laminated Damascus Skinner for the knife that once I reach 250 subscribers, I will be giving that knife to one of the lucky subscriber along with a handmade leather sheath. The knife itself is 15N20 laminated over 1080 with antler handle and black micarta for the handle as well. You have to like that video, comment on that video, and be a subscriber to the channel. Share the word, share my videos. Appreciate you checking them out. Y'all have a blessed day. Alright, this is one of the last this is the last sheath that I've got to put the edge dressing on. So what I'm going to do is basically show how, as you can see, there's a nice thin little line, not a lot of overslot, but this is how I do that. Instead of using a dauber or a sponge or a brush, I actually just use a Q-tip, dip some on, and work it down across there like that. That gives me a relatively clean looking edge. It gives me a bit more control than using the daubers or sponge. I can get it fairly uniform most of the time. Every once in a while I end up with a little bit off, but not to mention this, you know, using a dauber for edge dressing, it gets kind of expensive because basically, you know, when you go through and you sit down and you do all the sheaths that you want to do the edge dressing on and all, the dauber's pretty much ruined after that. So, I mean, every time that you've got an order that requires you to do edge dressing on the sheaths, you know, it adds up to a right decent amount of money that's getting dumped on those daubers over time. Now, plus, like I said, this gives me a little bit more control as far as the edges. And what I'm looking for is ways that I can, you know, provide a more consistent quality while, you know, continuing to improve and look better, as well as, you know, save me a little bit of money in the process. You know, I'll go through and
I'll hit the edges first, then I'll go through and do the center, then I'll hang it to dry. Now these are actually, like I said before, or I think I said before, these are actually the sheaths for the Mud Bums Right and Royal Continental Collection. I make the knives for those as well as I handcraft the sheaths, as you've seen from this video. I did not show the hand stitching, but I mean, so many people have seen saddle stitching in different videos and stuff, and I figured I wouldn't bore you with that. I think I think there's been a couple posts or something that I've actually on the Forge page on Facebook, Fiery Pit Forge, that I've actually shown, you know, pictures of the stitching, but I figure this is, you know, just a simple, easy way to show this. Show how you get a nice quality in look. There you go, sealed, looks nice, and I'll hang it. God bless me.